The first thing she remembered was the sound, not the fall, not the pain. The sound, a hollow, splintering crack that echoed through the house like something sacred had been broken open. It was the kind of sound that didn't belong in a home filled with wedding photos and carefully folded laundry. The kind of sound that made silence feel dangerous afterward. Elena would later wonder if that was the exact moment her life divided into before and after. Before the stairs, after the truth. It had been an ordinary evening. That was the part that unsettled her the most when she tried to replay it later. Nothing cinematic, no thunderstorm, no dramatic music swelling in the background, just the soft hum of the dishwasher and the faint citrus scent of the cleaner she'd used on the counters. She had been barefoot, one hand resting on the banister, the other holding her phone loosely. A message from her sister still glowed on the screen. "You don't sound like yourself anymore." Elena had stared at that text for a long time before locking the phone and placing it face down against her palm. She didn't want to think about what that meant. She didn't want to think about how true it might be. As she started to descend the stairs, Robert appeared at the top. Her husband, her partner of 8 years. The man who once wrote her letters in blue ink, who used to say her name like it was something soft and precious. Now, he said it like a question.
Elena?
There was something in his voice, tight, coiled, that made her pause halfway down the staircase.
Yes?
You didn't answer me earlier.
She frowned slightly, trying to remember.
About what?
His jaw shifted.
I asked if you were going to cancel your trip next weekend.
Her chest tightened.
I told you it's just 2 days. It's for work.
You don't need to go.
I do.
She said gently.
It's important.
The silence stretched between them, thin and fragile. Robert stepped closer to the base of the stairs.
Important to who?
She hesitated. That was always the trap. The wrong word could turn a conversation into something else entirely.
It's important to me.
There it was. The shift. It was subtle, almost invisible, but she felt it like a drop in temperature. His expression hardened, not explosive, not loud, but controlled in a way that felt more dangerous.
To you.
He repeated. She swallowed.
Yes.
Another step closer.
So what I need doesn't matter.
That's not what I said.
It's what you meant.
Her grip tightened on the banister.
Robert, please don't do this.
Don't do what?
His voice sharpened.
Ask my wife why she suddenly thinks she can do whatever she wants?
I've always been allowed to.
Allowed?
He cut in, a short, humorless laugh escaping him.
Is that how you see it?
Her heart began to beat faster, a quiet alarm sounding in her chest.
I didn't mean it like that.
You never do.
He said. Another step. He was so close now she could see the faint line between his brows, the one that had deepened over the years, the one she used to smooth with her thumb.
Elena,
He said more quietly.
you've been different.
She forced herself to stay still.
Different how?
Distant, disrespectful.
That's not fair.
It's not fair?
His voice rose slightly, then dropped again, as if he were catching himself.
You think I don't notice how you pull away from me? How you question everything I say now?
I'm not questioning everything.
You're questioning me.
The words landed heavy between them. She shook her head, her pulse thudding in her ears.
I'm just trying to have my own thoughts.
You've always had your own thoughts.
No,
She said softly, almost to herself.
I haven't.
The air changed. She saw it the moment the words left her mouth. The flicker in his eyes, the tightening of his shoulders. It was as if something unspoken had finally been said out loud, and there was no way to take it back.
What does that mean?
He asked. Elena's throat went dry. She hadn't planned to say it. She hadn't planned to confront anything tonight. But something in her had been building for months, quietly, patiently, like pressure beneath the surface.
It means
She hesitated, her voice trembling.
I don't feel like myself anymore.
Silence. Robert stared at her, his expression unreadable.
And whose fault is that?
He asked. She blinked.
I'm not blaming you.
Then who?
He pressed, stepping closer.
Your job? Your friends? That sister of yours who keeps filling your head with nonsense?
Don't bring her into this.
Why not? She's the one telling you you're unhappy, isn't she?
No,
Elena said, her voice breaking slightly.
I told her that.
Another silence. This one heavier, more dangerous.
You told her that.
He repeated slowly.
Yes,
His gaze darkened.
So now you're talking about our marriage behind my back.
I needed someone to talk to.
You have me.
She almost laughed at that, but the sound died in her throat.
Do I?
That was the moment everything tipped. It happened quickly, but not so quickly that she didn't see it coming. The movement, the reach, his hand closing around her wrist, not violently at first, but firmly enough that she felt the warning in it.
Elena,
He said, his voice low, controlled.
you're not making any sense right now.
Let go of me.
I'm trying to talk to you.
You're not listening.
I am listening.
He snapped, his grip tightening.
I'm listening to my wife tell me she's unhappy like I've done something wrong.
You have.
She whispered. The words barely left her lips before his expression changed completely. Not anger, not exactly, something colder.
What did you say?
Her heart pounded so hard it made her dizzy.
I said, you have.
His fingers tightened further, pain shooting up her arm.
Explain that.
I can't do this like this.
She said, her voice shaking.
Please just let go.
Not until you explain.
Robert, you're hurting me.
Something flickered across his face. Annoyance, maybe, or disbelief.
I'm not hurting you.
He said, though his grip didn't loosen.
You are.
Stop exaggerating.
I'm not.
Her foot shifted slightly on the step. Just a small movement. Just enough. The moment stretched, thin, fragile, inevitable. She felt the loss of balance before she understood it. The way her body tilted backward. The way her hand slipped from the banister.
Robert,
It wasn't a scream, not yet. More like a warning, a reaching. His hand was still on her wrist. For a split second, she thought he would pull her back. That instinct, that reflex of love, of protection, would kick in, that he would save her. Instead, he let go. The fall was not graceful. There was no slow motion clarity, no poetic suspension of time. It was chaotic, violent. Her body hit the edge of a step, then another. Pain exploded through her side, her shoulder, her head. The world became a blur of motion and impact. Breath knocked from her lungs in a sharp, silent gasp. And then, stillness. The ceiling above her looked unfamiliar from this angle. Too far away, too white. For a moment, she couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Then the pain came rushing in, sharp and overwhelming, dragging a broken sound from her throat.
Elena,
His voice, distant, careful. He appeared above her, looking down the staircase. His face was shadowed, unreadable.
oh my God.
He said, but the words felt rehearsed, like lines spoken on cue.
Are you okay?
The question floated in the air between them, absurd and hollow. Elena tried to speak, but her voice wouldn't come. Her body felt wrong, disconnected. Her arm lay at an angle that didn't make sense.
Stay still.
He said quickly, descending a few steps.
You fell.
She stared at him. Through the haze of pain and shock, one thought surfaced with terrifying clarity. He let go, not slipped, not lost his grip. He let go. The realization settled into her bones, heavier than the pain.
Elena, I'm calling an ambulance.
he continued, pulling out his phone. His voice was louder now, more urgent, performative, but his eyes were watching her, not with concern, with calculation. And in that moment, something inside her shifted, not broken, not entirely, but awakened. Later, there would be questions. Doctors, nurses, soft voices asking gentle things.
Do you remember what happened?
Did you lose your balance?
Has anything like this happened before?
Robert would be there, always within reach, answering before she could.
She slipped. It was an accident. She's been stressed lately.
Elena would lie in the hospital bed, her body aching, her mind sharper than it had been in years. She would watch him, the way he smiled at the staff, the way his hand lingered just a second too long on her shoulder, the way his eyes flicked to hers, not with love, but with warning, and she would understand something she had been too afraid to name before. This wasn't the first moment. It was just the first undeniable one. On the third day, a nurse named Carla came in during the early morning. Quiet, observant. She adjusted Elena's IV, then paused.
Are you safe at home?
She asked gently. The question hung in the air. Simple, direct, terrifying. Elena looked at her, really looked at her, at the steadiness in her eyes, the quiet invitation to tell the truth. For a moment, fear rose up, familiar and suffocating. But beneath it, something else, something stronger. The echo of that sound, the crack, the breaking, not just of bone, but of illusion. Elena took a breath, wincing at the pain, and for the first time in a long time, she chose herself.
No.
She said. Her voice was barely above a whisper, but it was enough. It was everything. The fall had taken seconds. The truth had taken years. But now that it was here, Elena knew one thing with absolute certainty. She would never go back up those stairs again. Subscribe to by Estelle for more emotional storytelling. New stories every week.